Hello everyone and welcome to tonight's live stream. We are live doing question time, answering your questions related to Unreal Engine, game development, or anything you really want to ask at all. Let me just sort out some audio things here from my side. Hang on 1 second. It's a bit loud in my ear. Hopefully that's okay for everyone. Get that a bit more. Okay. Excellent. Okay, so if you don't know what today is all about, it's a chance for you to ask me any question you like. All you got to do is put a question into chat, and I'll try and grab as many questions as I can, and answer them as many as I can within the hour or so that we're here. It can be about anything you like, totally okay. If I don't know the answer straight away, we'll try and figure it out, and we'll do our best. Okay. Oh, pardon me. Okay, so yeah, we're all loaded up. So let's jump into Unreal. Now, if you're a Patreon member, you can actually ask a question ahead of time by going over to our Discord channel, Question Time Q Jump, and there you can post a question in preparation for this week's live stream. So if you don't manage to make the show live, you can ask a question ahead of time anyway. So, speaking of that, let's go back to our Discord and see what questions we've got in now. So the first question I've got here is from Greenfire, and he's asking about how can he use the interact interface from the inventory system alongside with the quest series. Do you have to have two separate interfaces? No, you don't. Okay, it can be just one interface and working just fine. It's the same, as you can see, it's very similar, if not the same system. So it doesn't matter what you're using for interaction. That's what matters, really, more so than anything. Next question is from Space Mex. Does anyone know how to save values and set them for a slider? I've tried every YouTube tutorial and none worked. I can save the values, but the slider refuses to set itself to the correct position. It's either 0 or 1. And sometimes it also refuses to let me move it. Okay, so a thing to know about sliders in the UI. Let me create a widget so I can demonstrate. By the way, if you're in London at the WASD exhibition at the end of the month, do let me know. I'll be there, so I can hang out and chat and get a drink with you if you want. I'm more than happy to meet up people at the WASD event. Answer any questions you may have also in person. Whatever you want to ask there. Okay, so. Slider. So a slider here, you drag this out, and there's your slider. So the slider, as you can see here, the value goes between 0 and 1. Okay. Now, the min and max values are, if I change that to 100, as you can see, doesn't really affect this value here. Okay, it's bound to this value here. What is a good option to do? You can type in a value if you want, so you can set it manually, but typically what's a good practice to do with sliders is to treat it like a progress bar, so it goes from 0 to 1. If you're finding that the bar either fills up completely or is not at all, that means your value is even with 0 or greater than 1. So I imagine that that's the case. Now, if it is the case that you actually do want to use values, that's fine. Just make sure you set the max value and min value accordingly, and the value input here matches and fits that in there. As I said, you can type in a value into here. That's no problem at all. So I can put in like 5,000, for example, and that'll be totally fine. But as you can see, and it goes between 0 and 1. But if I put this as, say, 10,000, it'll go halfway. Yeah, it's there. So double check your value settings here are correct. As I said, it's easier to work if your value and min and max values are 0 to 1. I typically try and normalize them. We call that normalizing. So I normally normalize my values for sliders. Trizv96, if we are Patreon, Diamond or Platinum members, how can we get in contact with you for help with bug fixing? Just direct message me. So if you don't know, if you're a Platinum or Diamond member, you can ask for direct help for a bug fix or two each month. Okay. Like, it won't be anything extravagantly long. It'll be like probably a quick look and see what her issue is. But yeah. Jason81 has a question on macros versus functions. When should you use a macro versus a function? Currently, I mostly use macros for flow control and functions for specific actions and returning values, querying a dataset, for example. Can you explain a bit about each? It's basically, you already described it, basically. A function is a event that fires right there and then and must be resolved right there and then. So in that single moment where you call the function, it must resolve itself and give you a return or null, or whatever you want to return. But it's very useful for returning value right there and then. The downside to a function, though, because it has to be returned right there and then, you can't do latent events. So you can't do montage plays, you can't do delays, timelines, things like that you can't do in a function because they must be resolved within that single moment. Macros don't work like that. Macros are simply just a collection of nodes that you bunch together, and it is best used for flow control. If you find yourself repeating the same thing over and over again, and it is more about controlling the setup of your thing, but you don't want it to be a function, that's where you're at. You'll also find that macros can't be called as freely and openly as a function can be. It's a little bit more complicated than that. So you'll probably find it better if you want to do any sort of calculation stuff on a function. Macros, as you already described it, is more for like flow control. Okay, and and a couple of last questions here from the Patreon members. Rando Pixel, on your weighted loop tables tutorial, can you tell me why when I run the calculate sum and then choose a loop through a for loop, if it puts more than one item in the chest, it is the same item, as in it selects an item based on weighting and just deposits that item, the max chest items amount, instead of running it over again, like expecting to choose another item. Blueprint further down. Okay, let's have a look at your blueprint. Right. Your for loop, you need to do deposit item. Your calculate sum, I think, needs you need to recalculate the sum again. So put your calculate sum. I think I can't see inside of it, but I imagine what you've done. Sun sneaked in. What you've done is you've taken the float where you calculated all the sum of the tickets you've got, and you're going through the choosing loop. But I think you've saved it as a variable. You need to recalculate that sum and reset the variable. Oh no, you are doing that. It should be. Not entirely certain. If you can send more details about what you've done for your calculate sum and your choose loop and deposit item, that'd be useful. He's come in here and complained about being cold. Yeah, I've got my window open because I'm hot. Hang on. This kid drives me batty. Right. Yeah. Can't play any Nintendo. Right. Go to sleep. Anyway. And final question from Trisv96. As a professional, do you think using mix-emote and marketplace animations is bad for an indie game? I feel like it's just super taboo and has negative connotations. Not at all, really. If you can't afford... I mean, animations and custom models are super expensive to try and get made. So if you can't afford it, it's fine. Like, no one's expecting you to be able to do that. What you'll find is that a lot of indie games that do use marketplace assets will try to make it the game with marketplace assets. If they're successful and generate some actual revenue, they'll probably go back and replace those assets with some custom built stuff. But yeah. Okay, so on to chat in YouTube. Let's take a look at what questions we've got in here. Daniel Ridge, first question on the whole channel is, how can you detect input from a PS4, PS5 controller? Is there a way to tell what type of controller is plugged in? No. You know what platform you're on because you've published that platform, but there's no way that I know of that you can detect which controller you're plugged in. But the inputs are exactly the same as any gamepad. They're all just treated the same. So action inputs, for example, are all the gamepad ones. No, all these ones, all the same. Now, if you've got the PlayStation controller, there is... you probably need to plug in. There are specific ones for like PlayStation where you can control like the touchpad thing and all that. But that'd be treated like a mouse. It gets input the same as a mouse. But there's things like motion control and things like that. They'll come through these the same way. But there is no way that I know of that you can detect which kind of gamepad it is. But typically we know what gamepad you're using because you publish it on the right console. PC, we typically just use Xbox only, normally. But there may be a way of doing it. I'm not familiar with it, though. I'm just looking... I've got one question here, but let me look through, see if there's any more quick ones before I attack it, because it's going to be a long one. Lottie, having trouble getting sequence to activate constantly. I'm having it play a trigger volume in the level blueprint as it should, but sometimes it just doesn't activate. Also, do you have any intermediate sequence learning video recommendations? So there is going to be a live stream this weekend for a cinematic. So we're going to go through level sequencer and talk about that and how to use it and some of the things you could do with it. So come by the live stream then and check that out there. Robert Pertel, are you continuing the Unreal Engine 5 tutorial control with videos? Yeah, I actually done a look at it today, because the reason why we couldn't do part 2 is because the full body IK node that we were using was broken in 5.0. So I've been trying it out with 5.1. I think it's fixed. That's what I'm doing today. If it isn't fixed, then I might rejig it and try something else that's not using the full body IK node and use something else entirely. We'll see. But yeah, I looked at it funny enough today, trying to get it solved. I think it's fixed. I need to do more tests though. George, go to sleep. He's just being annoying for the sake of being annoying. Neo Masaki, any news on the revamped FPS RPG series? No immediate news. Work is really busy at the moment. Got a lot on my plate, and it's hard to focus on that whilst I'm still spinning some other plates. So once I wrap up those things, yes, we'll be going back to there. Okay, let's go answer this question, because I feel like it's going to be a bit of a longer one. But hopefully people will find it interesting. So Zor Sa. Hi Ryan, how would you approach flying AI utilizing behavior trees? For example, have an actor roam from random location to random location, but there will be an invisible box setting the boundaries. Okay, I get this question a lot about flying AI. And understandable, it's not easy. The reason why it's not easy is because by default, Unreal Engine does not support three-dimensional nav meshes. It just doesn't support it. So you've got a couple of options. You can fake it, and I can show you how to fake it in a minute. Or you can use what we call whiskers mode. So rather than use a nav mesh, they use whiskers to determine whether something's in its way and it can navigate around the space. It's a bit ropey, it's not the greatest, and it's a bit hard for it to make sure it navigates to it goes the shortest path around. It could get stuck. So we can go try and show you both methods. You may find that the faking it method works just fine. Go to sleep or go upstairs. Take some mic. So let's show you the trick method first. Let me add a nav mesh blueprint. So this still uses the standard nav mesh bounds. Okay. And so you get those nav mesh bounds like that. And then I'm going to create a simple character and flying AI, basic we call it. And in here, we'll give it a simple mesh. So for this, I'm going to use a cube. Okay. Now for a flying character, just put it up in the air so it's off the ground. Yep. So if it's a bird, for example, it's a bit in the air, maybe flapping about and stuff. And basically what it's going to do is look like it's flying. Okay, that's the simplest thing it can do. Now there are things we can do to make it look even better, and that is by doing things like doing a spring arm to make it go up and down and things. So for example, if I take add a spring arm to this and rotate the spring arm up like that, and attach I can't attach the mesh, I have to make a new mesh. Hold on, let me make a new mesh. Okay, so that's up there in the air, for example. But I'm going to move this thing down a little bit, like this. So the spring arm goes up like this, a little bit more, but the skeletal mesh is a little bit down from it. What this does mean it can do is a little trick where if I was to make a platform like this, for example, and I just told him to come towards me. I'm just going to do some dumb AI thing. Just do begin play, AI move to. Pawn itself. Target actor, get player character. Okay. And yeah, I'll make it a bit slower to 200. So you get, I've got this flying thing that goes underneath the level like that, and it pops back up, sort of thing. So you can fake things like that. You can also make it animate going up and down, flapping its wings. You can make it look quite convincing. And so forth. But as I say, you're limited in that it only has to navigate like a two-dimensional plane. It can't go like up to another level, for example. It's not that clever. The other method to get it to fly around is a little bit different. So we'll still use a pawn. We'll do flying pawn. And in here, add the mesh. And we'll add the pawn movement, floating pawn movement. Max speed, we'll turn it down to like 200 again, so same as L1 was. Yeah, I'll leave that as 1 there. Okay, so that should do that. I'm just going to copy this code. Graph, gameplay. Okay. So this one has an issue in that this thing will want to use the nav mesh, but if I told it to fly, it wouldn't fly. So for example, if I just put this in here, okay, he'll come to me, but he won't fly. For example, like if I come off of this, come on, and jump off, he has to go back round the other way. He doesn't see it as flying, so you get, it's just like having another character around. So to make it fly, you can't use AI move 2. Instead, you have to use simple move 2. No. Move. What's it called? AI move to location or actor. Yeah, this one. So move to location or actor. So this takes the controller, which is get AI controller. And the goal actor will be the player. But this one, you turn off use pathfinding. The difference this one does is that they will constantly come at you, but they'll go through things. They will fly. So if I jump in the air, you see it goes off in the air a little bit. But he will go through objects like that. Okay, so it doesn't see collisions like normal. So the trick to this one is that you need to make him navigate around objects that he can't see, essentially. Because he's not using the pathfinding nav mesh. So what we do is we do whiskers. And whiskers are line traces you do from the front and to the sides of the character and other directions to make them detect for obstacles and then move away from them. Is essentially what's happening. It's sort of the same system that your like your robot vacuum does. It's the same sort of thing. What do you want? Sit down. Or go upstairs. Okay. So, yeah. So to do whiskers type stuff, we want to go to our pawn here, and we'll do a simple whisker. Okay, on the tick. It has to be on tick because you want it to constantly check the things. We'll do a simple frontal whisker. So in here, do a line trace by a channel. We're going to get actor location. And the endpoint is going to be get actor forward vector multiplied by range. And the distance of this range depends on how fast the thing goes. We'll start at 300, but and we'll add that onto our location. Yeah. Okay. So if this thing hits something, we want it to turn left or turn right. Simple as that. So I'm gonna go. I'll just make it always turn anti-clockwise, for example. So if it's true, yeah, we're going to add. You're going to do set control rotation. No, what do I want to do? I want him to just add rotation to his character. Probably need to get the AI controller for it. Self control rotation, set control rotation. There you go. And we're going to do an R-interp on this one. So R-interp 2. We're going to get the current one. Get control rotation. Put that in there. The target will be our current rotation plus, or combined, sorry, not plus. Can't add rotators, you can combine rotators. And then we'll put a little bit in the Z, so we'll do, I don't know, 15 degrees, whatever. It'll do that, okay. Actually, no, we'll change that to a little bit lower. We'll do 2. Delta time, delta world seconds, interp speed 3, and that'll go into there. Okay. Next, we want to make sure that it's using the control rotation. So at the moment, by class defaults, he's not using a controller rotation neural. We want him to rotate following the use controller rotation neural. So I'm going to turn that on. Not too sure, actually. We'll try it turned on. I've got a feeling it won't work. I think it'll get overridden. Yeah, no, it didn't work. It's getting overridden. I'm also going to add an arrow to him so we can actually see what the hell way he's facing. There too. And we'll make that not hidden game. Right. So if I turn off his rotation yaw, is his rotation turning already? No. Okay. So if we don't turn that on, his rotation doesn't turn. That means his forward vector is broken. Yeah. So if I go, no, hang on. Let's draw the debug for this. Draw for 1 frame. Okay. So there's the line trace. Okay. So because he's not using the rotation yaw, we need to rotate him around to face that one. So if I did use controller rotation yaw, I think that's going to get overridden because he's now rotating to follow the rotation yaw. It's hitting there, but it wasn't doing the rotation. What do I need to do? What do I do? Control rotation. I want him to face whichever way he's moving. So I'm going to turn that off. And I'm going to see, this should be this. Okay, this is moving the control rotation. Interesting. 2 in 3 seconds. What? No, it's not in 3 seconds. That's how fast it changes. It's doing 2 in every delta time. So it's like almost like every tick. Trying to think now. What would be the way to turn around? Because we still want him to come towards us. But I think we basically can't use this. We have to use something else. Yeah, we're gonna have to do it all manually. Okay, so he'll do this. We'll do it in a sequence. Like that. And I want him to move towards the control rotation. I want to accelerate him with control rotation. So we're going to do add movement input. Going to get the AI controller. Self is the actor for that. And from there, get control rotation and plug that into there. Get that. And then like that. And then on begin play. No, when this is false. So this is false here. This is what I want to do. So when it's false, I want it to set the control rotation to the location of the player. That's what I want to do. So set control rotation. And then put that into false. And then the rotation is going to be the look at rotation. So yeah. Get that to location. Be the target. And the start will just normal get to location. Itchy nose, sorry. Ideally, we should do an R interp for this. Never mind. Let's just see if it works. So he's moving just the wrong direction there. Oh, yeah, I've got to actually... no, hold on. Oh, wait. I think this is colliding with the floor. I need to add some height to this. Hold on. Add 30. There we go. Because it was skimming along the floor, it was always true. You should be turning around to face me, mate. Okay, hold on. Right, so he's always going to be moving based on his control rotation. The control rotation we're updating. If it is false, we're saying get the actual location and set the control rotation to this. So why is that not working? Yep. If I set the velocity here to 0, maybe? No. What's going on there? Let's draw a debug. Draw, debug, arrow. Line start is get actor location. Line end is this thing multiplied by 200. Put that in there. Arrow size will do 5. Thickness will do 5. Duration will do 0. Line color black 4. Oh, hold on. Why is it going 0, 0? Line end. Oh, I forgot to add it onto here. Whoops. So there's the black line. No. There's the black line. Sorry, on the floor. Yeah, that is. I thought it was a shadow. Yeah, why is it doing that? Surely it should be doing this. Print string. And that's turning there in the numbers. So why is it not rotating? What? Yeah. What's this bad putting then? Let me turn that one off. Just one. Why though? Because if I put in this, the control rotation is moving. Oh, it's not. What the hell's going on? What? Get control rotation. But that's the same as this. Oh no, that was a lookout rotation, wasn't it? Yeah, no, set. What? So it looks like the control rotation is getting overridden by something. Okay. Right, I'm going to pause this and then we'll come back to it in probably a video stream. I'll do a whole thing on it. I'm thinking I'm going to have to make my own sort of control rotator type device or mess about with velocity. But I don't want to waste time on here. I want to go and answer some more questions. We'll see. But yeah, flying AI is a pain in the butt. So try and fake it if you can, or not have it at all. Yeah. Anyway, I have to go and answer the next one. Sorry. I don't know why it wasn't working, but there you go. You look at the controller. No, I'm told to look at the character, didn't I? Yeah, you get player character, yeah. No, it's just resetting. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Next question. Okay, how can you make an interpolated input axis with advanced input modifiers? Okay, so, and that is from Mr. Flip. Right, so let's take a look at our inputs that we got on here. Okay, and I'll make a new one. We'll do a jump one. Duplicate that, and we'll do IA test. Okay, and on here, gonna add IA test, and we'll do it with the 1 key, for example. And we'll close this one and open up the player character and add that onto there. IA test. Like so. Okay. So this thing triggers when I push and hold down the button. Okay. So basically, I want to, on triggered here, do an F interp too. Oh, we can't. Hang on. Right click F interp 2. There you go. And we want to get the input that we're trying to set. So let's say you've got a value that you want to try and change here. So this would be a float, saying float test, we'll call it. And float. And put that onto the end here. So on triggered, we're going to update the float test. And the float test is going to, on the current value, is going to be float test. The target value is going to be based on whether or not this thing has been true or false on here. That's right, isn't it? Let's double check. I can't recall. I believe that's right. So the target here, we'll do select float. And we'll plug that into there. If it's true, we'll change that to 1. And V will be false. Delta time be delta. World seconds. Intercept speed. I believe this fires on a hold. If not, we can add a modifier to it. Oh, I need to actually print string it to actually see it. Oops. So I'm holding down the key, and it goes to 1. Okay. If I let go of it though, that's the issue that we see there. We need it to diminish. Let me reword what you're asking. It's smooth input over time from 0 to 1. I think if you want it to let go and slow down as well, so it's like ramps up and ramps down, you must use a tick and use a gate. Otherwise, on started here, just set float test back to 0. So every time you push the button, it starts at 0. Hold it down, it goes to like whatever number you put in. Yes, and then that's 1. I can push and hold the button. Yeah, it just resets it every time I let go of the button, back down to 0. Okay. Now you may notice if you're looking at the numbers here, the first part of the numbers here are very fast. They're going very fast. Then it hangs around 0.99 for a long time. And that's because F interps, or the basic interps, aren't linear. They are sort of curved. But there is a way around that. You can just do F interp 2 constant. And this does the same thing, but it gets rid of that little curve on it. So I can put the target down there, float test down here, delta time down there, put 3 seconds, and then that down there. And now we shouldn't see that sloping of the value. It should be static like that. Yeah. And if I make it slower, I just go into the F-interp and just change that down to 0.2, for example. And it goes up at a constant rate. Yeah. So that is a way of doing it. If you wanted it to go down when you let go of it, then you'll probably need to use a tick event to help you with that. Yeah. TJ Rizvi, Ryan, I can't remember, but did you ever do a video detailing a new input system? I did, yes. There's a couple of things still broken in the new system, so I'm hoping they get fixed soon, but we'll see. Yeah, there might be a modifier in the input. Let's take a look. I know you can do it going up bit on a hold key, but I don't know about its output downgrading. So yeah, if you want to do like a hold button, really the triggers, no modifiers. No, it is triggers, and do hold. Yeah. If you do the hold version of this, you can also take this out, and this just stores a value and outputs the value of how long you've held it for. So if you expand this open, you see elapsed time and triggered seconds. You can put that in there, but this is seconds. So if you want the number to be like sort of stretched out longer than a second, then you do what I just did. Racing is fun. Ryan, the new plugin art of shader for free this month. Could you show us how to launch it from a character BP? I haven't even looked at it yet. So I can't help you with that one. But when I look at it, if I ever look at it, I can do. Boba Fett, please help. My widgets don't close when I click off them. So do you mean like you got a window of a widget and you click off the screen? You want the widget to disappear? Is that what you're trying to do, Boba Fett? Just confirm for me and I'll show you how to do that. Peter, does he answer questions in order or pick randomly? I try to do it in order, but it's more like random. Yeah. Boba Fett maybe showed me the off focus event, but it hasn't worked. Yeah, because that would be the way to do it. Oh, pardon me. If it hasn't worked, can you can you just let me know or show me what kind of setup you've got for your widget, because you might have it so it never loses focus, maybe. It must be something to do with the way your widget's set up. If you can show me what you're doing. Is the border covering the whole entire screen, Boba Fett? No. Oh. Make sure your canvas is set to non-testable self only, and in that way it can click through the widget. Peter, I'm going to butcher this, Pachevsky 3D. Beginner question here. I'm a bit confused on distinguishing between nodes like get owning actor and try get pawn owner and casting. I have no idea on what they do, but I have no idea what they do, but not the nuances. Okay. So let's go through a few things. Okay, so some basic stuff. So ownership. So get owner. Now, when you call get owner on an actor, it's different. You do it somewhere else. But so if it's on an actor, so get owner here, this returns the other actor that owns this. So this is mostly used for like online multiplayer. So if I pick up a gun, or put a gun in my character's hands, that gun will now belong to that character, which in turn then belongs to that particular player. So we can then trace back which player owns what. That's the whole point of that. The other uses of it is able to distinguish things so it doesn't hurt itself with its own ammo, or things like that. But it's mostly used for networked games. So that's what get ownership does, and we can set an owner to something. But by default, if you don't set the owner belongs to the world. The world is the owner. And in a multiplayer game, that means it belongs to the server. Okay, so everything spawned in the game belongs to the server. But generally, get owner is that. If you want to set the owner, it's simple as doing set owner, like that. And you can also do it directly when you do spawn actor from class. Just expand it open here, and you can set it directly when you create it. Which is pretty useful. So if you do like a multiplayer game, for example, you shoot the bullet out and you set the owner to be the player, so you know who owned the bullet and who then is responsible for the damage. Yeah. So that's what that ownership does. There's another get owner. Oh, what are we? This one. And this one is the difference between this one and the other one I've done is this one target is actor, whereas this one target is actor component. They are very, very similar, but they function very, very differently. So when you're using an actor component as target, such as the mesh here, this returns the actor this component belongs to. So in this case, this returns this actor, the third person character, because this is the third person character's component. But it can be very useful when you're doing your own actor components. You want them to do specific things to the particular owner of that component. You can use those sort of things to help you with that. Try get pawn owner. You're not going to find it in this one, but if I untick this, it may pop up. Yeah. So try get pawn owner belongs to the anim instance, or in other words, animation blueprint. The reason why we have this, it functions almost similar to the actor component one, where it returns an actor. Okay, the pawn, the actor that's running the skeletal mesh. What this tries to do is, the anim instance will try to get the pawn that this anim instance is belonging to. The reason why you have try in its name is because in the load of the game, there may be a split second when the anim instance spawns in and gets loaded in before the character does, therefore causing an issue if you've got code that's reading from the pawn. So we use this to try and catch it and make sure it doesn't get any issues. Basically, it's just getting the owner and testing whether or not it's valid or not. That's all it's doing. So that's what they do. You also got other ones like get parent, and you've got a variety of get parents. Important to note what the target is for each one. So for widget, the get parent is the widget that this widget belongs to. Get parent, you got sequences. Oh, where are we? Mesh bones and things like that. Get the parent class, get the parent actor. So this one here. This get parent actor is only valid if the actor that is running this code was spawned by a child actor component. So on here, if I had a child actor component like that, the actor that spawns in, that could use this node to work out this actor who spawned it in. That's what it does. Similarly, get parent component returns the child actor component. So if you look at return node here, it tells you what type it returns. It returns a child actor component reference. So you can get that particular part from that there. So if in doubt, just look at what these nodes are saying in their tooltips, but more importantly, look at their target. Look at what they're asking for. This is a target, it's asking for an actor, so therefore it must need an actor going into here. So self in this case works fine because this is an actor. But the other ones, this one won't work, this one won't work if I don't have anything plugged into it. Okay. But there's a brief intro to those various nodes. It can be very confusing because Epic interchangeably will change what means what. So just read the tooltip if you get stuck. I sometimes get lost and I just have to read the tooltip to remind myself which one's which. So yeah, definitely make sure you pay attention to that sort of stuff. I wonder where he went. He's on the floor. Yes, Boba Fett. We'll try and make a widget in the middle of a canvas and click off of it. So let me create a widget. Boba Fett, we'll call it. And so you got a canvas panel, and inside the canvas panel you've got a border in the middle of it. So you've got something looks like that, yeah. So on here on the graph, I'm going to do on construct get player controller. Just set the input mode to UI. Set input mode to UI only. And then do set show mouse cursor. Like so. On the destruct of this, we're going to undo that. So get player controller. Nope. Set input mode. Game only. And then set show mouse cursor. Okay. Yeah, so then if I lose focus on this thing, on focus lost, get this on. Yeah, focus lost, yeah. We'll do remove from parent. Hit compile, save, close that. And we go to my player character and just add it on there. Begin play. Oh, and then from there, create widget. Choose my Boba Fett one and add to viewport. Okay, so that should come up with that white square in the middle. And okay, I see a problem. Yeah. Okay, so the canvas panel's not letting go of it. So what? What do I was doing? Oh yeah, that happens at the end, doesn't it? Okay, Boba Fett, let's take a look at your problem. So first thing to check is canvas panel. The canvas panel here, we're going to check the visibility. It's set to non-accessible self only. That should be right. That should lose our interest in because our mouse click should go through it and be captured by the game. So why is that not happening here? Let me also fix that problem with the ever. Hang on. That's only coming up because I'm closing the game and my character's still playing. So if they're valid, do that. Yeah, why is that not going through? Ooh. Hang on. That should do that. Is the survival series going to cover building? Somewhat, yes. Yeah, that should stop it. Why is that not working? How peculiar. It should just lose focus. All we need to focus, let's put in self, make sure it's set to focusable. Maybe that's the reason. Where are you? Focusable, there we go. There you go. There we go. So Boba Fett, the issue is that your widget must have focus to begin with. So if it doesn't have focus, it won't be able to remove it because it was never on the focus path. So make sure when you do input mode, set the widget to focus itself, or at least have something in the middle that is getting focus or something like that. And then you remove it. Yeah. Oh, in before Henrik. Yeah, Henrik. Yeah. There you go. Oh, and well done, Alisina. Alisina also said the same thing. Well done. Alisina, what is the fastest way to make online or LAN system for a simple game? Is it with IPs? Yes. Actually, the simplest way is to use the online subsystems to help you do it. Because then you don't have to worry about sending an IP address. So yeah. But check out the Fireteam stuff to see that sort of connection going on there, and the other online series. There's no, when it comes to online multiplayer, there's no such thing as simple. It is all a nightmare. So bear with that. Ab3B, hey Ryan, how would you suggest doing a stackable dot system, doing a for loop and adding an index for the stacks? Yeah, you could do. Totally could do that. There's quite a few ways in it, but yeah, that'd be a way to do it. Ryan also sent you a DM on Discord. Don't know how packed your DMs are. Did you? I guess busy. What's your name on Discord? Triz V96. We did? When? Oh, okay. Yeah, he sent it. Okay. You sent it like that. Oh, because you're not a part of the server. That's why. Ah. So yeah, if you're not part of the server, the Discord server, it doesn't get filtered into my main channel thing. So bear with me. Sorry. Me accepting DMs here. Oh god, I've got loads. Okay. How Okay. Yeah, I'll have to respond to some of those. It said you weren't. Did you link your Discord to your Patreon account, TJ? If you don't do that, that might be why. Because it says... Oh no, it says you are. Huh? I'm really confused by that. Oh, I don't know. It says you are now, but okay, I don't know what's going on there. Okay. We'll continue the conversation on there. Maybe it's because we aren't Discord friends. Although I've got people on there messaging me who aren't my friends on there. Maybe I'll accept you anyway, and it shouldn't be a problem. But it says we're mutual. I don't know, Discord gets weird sometimes. But yeah, we'll continue the conversation on there. But yeah. Okay, that'll do it for today's question time live stream. As I mentioned at the head of the video, this weekend we are doing a live stream session on using level sequences and talking about different techniques of how to do those and how they work and things to look out for and avoid and So come by on on Saturday for that live stream at usual time, which is 9 o'clock p.m. on UTC time zone. So apologies if I didn't get answer your question today. We're back here next Wednesday for more question time. So once again, thank you to all the Patreon members for their continued support in the channel and everything else going on over there. So thank you again so much. And if you want to support the channel and what I'm doing here, please head over to Patreon and consider supporting. It all helps. So thank you so much. Have a great evening, everyone. Take care of yourselves, and I'll hopefully see you on Saturday live. Bye, everyone.